can't get into podcasts. They're so boring.
You're missing out. You guys should really check out this new one. It's called Keep It 99.
Keep it 99, huh?
Welcome to Music Theory. It is your boy, your host, Zelmate, the music theorist. And of course, we got another music theorist, a music savant. Some would say a sensei. It is the Hollywood Sensei. How you doing, Hollywood?
Yes, sir. What's going on? Dynamic duo at it again.
And of course, y'all know what we talking about today. We talking about Brenda's Had a Baby, Got a Baby by Tupac. Came out in 1991. Today we are doing lyrics, analysis, and the podcast discussion and how it has changed from then, 1991, when I was born, to now, 2026. So this was the year I was born. This came out like a month before I was born. Or a month after, I can't remember. But when it came out, this was like impactful to the culture. So of course this had to be the first one. 1991, I gotta get one of the most popular songs, impactful cultural song from this era. So of course that's what we're talking about today. What do you remember about Brenda's Got a Baby? Because I don't really remember it, except for the older I got, the more it was talked about.
Brenda's Got a Baby. That song literally came out. I was 1 year old. You know what I mean? Shit. That song really ain't hop on my radar until I want to say later on in my youth, probably when I really started, ingesting music a lot. You know what I mean? So probably like around 11, 12. You know what I mean? When I first really, understood the meaning of the song and shit like that. You know.
And to y'all who watching, commentating right now in the comment section, let us know your thoughts. How did Brenda Got a Baby? How do you view it? How did you think it affected life? Do you think it affected culture? Does it still affect culture? As we go through this episode, I want your thoughts as we go through each topic, each slide, and know your thoughts. First off, it was released in 1991, Tupac's debut single, Tupacalypse Now, 1991 album. It's a true story from his cousin neighborhood in New York City. Most people forget that Tupac is from New York. First major political hip hop statement from Tupac. The key themes are teen pregnancies, systematic neglect of young mothers, poverty and housing, crap epidemic, and project life, community failure from family, church, and society who abandoned Brenda, survival and crime when Brenda turns to sex work to survive, and intergenerational trauma, cycle of poverty and abandonment. And it and if you from the hood, you understand all of this.
Yep.
Easy, clear as day. You understand the survival versus crime method, the intergenerational trauma where your mama said you have to do it like this, so you hide the pregnancy from your parents and all that. That was a common things in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Teen pregnancy rate, it kind of started sliding up as we got older too, because that wasn't as prevalent, but it was still prevalent. Poverty and how Section 8 housing, how Brenda leaving the baby at the trash, how abortion is not legal, and how that's a touchy subject for some. But Tupac hit it on the nail with this song and gave a story and a light to something that is very important to our community, our culture, something that should be addressed as much as possible. So we got another slide here. Brenda's World. We're gonna talk about a little bit about Brenda's World, and we're gonna go over the lyrics first. I hear Brenda's got a baby, but Brenda's barely got a brain. A damn shame. That girl can barely spell her name. That's not our problem. That's up to Brenda's family. But let me know. Let me show you how it affects our whole community. So basically, the opening line of the song and how it's talking about how Brenda doesn't have basically at this point. I know it says brain, but it basically means education.
Mm-hmm.
Or and a lack of common sense from not being raised in a certain area because she can't even spell her name. Education system, spelling and all that. But then you hear people tell you about the problem of Brenda and how they just making all these babies and stuff and fatherless kids and latchkey kids, as been stated before, and how it said that's not our problem. That's up to Brenda's family. So this whole like section of me about how Brenda had a Brenda's family and how no one supported her and how the other people would look at it and like it's up to them to take care of their problem because it's not ours. But Tupac starts in this to talk about how it affects the community Like as you see in the lyrical analysis, Tupac highlights Brenda's lack of education and systematic failure, the community's responsibility, not just the family. You know, it takes a community to raise a child, is the whole thing. And a framing device where he positions himself as a storyteller and forces the listener to confront uncomfortable truths about their own community, which I think is like one of the most important parts. There are a lot of stuff we excuse in our community because, as it said, we are what is it? We are black.
Mm-hmm.
So support black no matter what. Which in a lot of cases I firmly disagree with in a lot of ways because I don't think you should just support everything just because it's black on.
Yep.
But what do you feel about Brenda's world? Well, first we're gonna do according to the National Center of Education Statistics, dropout rates among teens in high poverty areas remain disproportionately high in 2026. Brenda's story isn't historical; it's still happening in classrooms today, and specifically in black communities. To be fair, I think it might be the gap is might be getting worse. Now, how you feel about this first breakdown of Brenda's Got a Baby, the opening lines and all and everything that Tupac expressed in there?
I mean, I feel like the breakdown is spot on. I mean, because it's definitely a an insightful personification of what's actually happening in underprivileged communities, especially urban communities, black communities. You know what I mean, there are should even still from '91 till now. You know what I mean, there are still young black girls out here having, babies having babies. You know what I mean, still not able to take care of themselves yet. And now they, you know, got to be forced into motherhood. And, you know what I mean? And, uh, you know, yeah, it's deep. You know what I mean? It's real. It's like, it's really still going on. Like, I mean, you still see it every day, day to day. Like, I mean, so.
You see it all the time, and then you see as Tupac. We're gonna go on, but I don't think it's mentioned as much. But you see the idea that you can get the government assistance, taxes, and all that off of the child, especially like the adults in the situation of the teens and the young women that gets pregnant, and how that mindset, as Tupac touches on later, is like in in drilled. I want to say in the like certain groups as getting easy money as fast as possible.
Mhm.
So what's the easiest way to do it? Okay, Brenda got a baby and she got pregnant by that stupid kid up the road. It's fine though, because if we can get some money out of it, it's basically like Annie. Except for it's actually your family. And if the baby is a little slower, the better, because we can get a government check out for it.
Definitely.
What you think?
Come here, boy. Come here.
Shout out to Hollywood. Look at little Hollywood in the building. Wave at the people.
Say, hey.
But we go to the next one. Then we're gonna talk about Brenda's fall, of course. And we talk about verse 2. Now, Brenda never really know her moms. Her dad was just some buster on the block. He never gave Brenda the attention Brenda needed because he was too busy dealing rock. Brenda's got to make it somehow, some way. She sells herself to stay alive day by day. So as you can see, it goes through certain aspects of the system. Has failed of the family, absent father, disconnected mother, so no stable home. CPS and social safety nets never intervened or helped. Church, Tupac mentioned the church turns away in a later verse because, of course, she's pregnant out of wedlock, sin, so he turns away. Neighbors gossip off of no real support or mentorship, and school system failed to catch at-risk students and doesn't support her as y'all see. She's not, as they say, the brightest. How you feel about Brenda's fall and the lyrics from Tupac's talking about explaining how never knew her mom's dad some bus on the block. He never gave Brenda attention she needed because he was too busy dealing rock.
I mean, another byproduct of disenfranchised black community. You know what I mean? Especially the first two lines. I mean, which you see, which I've experienced myself, not personally because I had both of my parents, but experience through other people around me. You know what I mean? Your mom, you may not have known your mom because your mom might have been strung out. You know what I mean? She might have been on that dope or something. You know what I mean? Probably like Brenda's mom. Then your dad, you know what I mean? Because of what the government did of turning away black men and not hiring motherfuckers. You know what I mean? What I gotta do now? I gotta get out on this block and I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta sell this rock to make ends meet. You know what I mean? I gotta hustle.
Nancy Reagan gave it to you.
I mean, I gotta hustle to put clothes on my back. You know what I mean? So, that right there is just like I said, another personification of what really goes on in urban areas, man. This shit is, and then like, this shit is hard. Like, I mean, when you go back, I'm looking at these lyrics now, and you just reading it, and it's like, damn, dog, I know so many Brendas for real. You know what I mean?
You do when you think about it.
I mean, it's just crazy. Like, but and that her fall is just. I mean, it's just tragic because so many young girls, especially young black girls, get forced into that type of lifestyle where it's though like, the only way I can provide for myself or survive out here is to sell myself to somebody. I mean, and I don't know, the church, that's another deeper conversation to have. You know what I mean? Because you shouldn't be turning away situations like that. You know what I mean? Like, church is supposed to be the biggest safe haven in the community. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And then the community. So, it's like.
And then the education, don't get me started on that. Ain't enough funding going into the black schools, to the black neighborhoods. I mean, they just treat the kids sometimes like factory workers. We just need to get them in and get them out. I mean, we don't really care about what the results are. I mean, as long as we get them in and get them out.
Yeah. It is one major difference between 1991 and now. That last part is probably much easier to do and less shamed upon.
Right.
Now, because you have a thing called OF that women do now to make quick money. At one point, it was stripping, of course, but then as OF, so it's like a way to make it. So selling yourself isn't as looked down upon, but it's still like, from a lot of people, a last resort. And then the some is just the first resort to make money because they don't want to struggle, which also I feel like is also negative because of a lack of support system that maybe a woman might feel or a person might feel, just like a drug dealer. Like, you feel like you lack support in the system against you and you have no chance to make it. So you automatically go to the least common denominator to get the easiest money you can and struggle. I think that's also why content creation now is popular, because people feel like it's the least amount of effort and I can get famous.
Right.
Which I point back to the Castanet Streamer University, in which people who never streamed or even made content would just go to it and say, hey, look, I'm funny. Look at me, pick me. You can make my career and I'll be famous once you do this for me. So it leads like it. So this whole thing kind of leads in 2026 to a more discussion of a lack of infrastructure. And I'm not even just talking about black people in this case, just for people that don't have a lot.
Right.
In general. Because now the infrastructure is, I want to get paid and I have to figure out a way to do it. And I want to do it in the easiest way and the quickest way possible because I don't want to struggle, because it's tough out here. Credit is like way higher now, because credit was like it wasn't a new thing, but it was just not long introduced in a way back then. So you also have that dynamic coming where you now have people who make minimum wage, but they still want you to buy things. So they introduce credit where you really can't afford it, but they need you for society to keep functioning economically to buy more things. So they give you credit where you only have to pay a certain amount each time. And I think that's very interesting. I think that dynamic in the fall of just people in general and society as a whole, because again, the infrastructure around getting something is much harder now. Because like my mom told me she got her house for $20,000. Listen, I could get a house. If I can get a house for $20,000, we lit. We just lit. I can do that myself. I pay probably more. Then she asked me how much you paying rent. And then I told her, and you're like 12 months. You pay for more in 12 months in a year than I paid on my whole house.
She
Just renting a small apartment. So that dynamic is interesting. Let's continue on. And then the cry for help. Of course, that's how we do. That's how society is now. Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's got a baby. Throw it in a trash can. That's the chorus. And then the bridge. She was 12. He was her cousin. She turned 13 and began to hustle. Couldn't she see the love and affection that her family lacked? It was hard to find. As you see, the chorus repeats the same line deliberately. It's mimicking how society keeps encountering these situations without changing. And it's basically telling you a bunch of people. It's a bunch of Brendas, as Hollywood said earlier. It's a bunch of Brendas. Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's got a baby. Throw in the trash can. Now, probably more so could be abortion. It could be other things that people do to get it over with. The dumpster image. This isn't shock value. It was based on real events. Dumpster baby was a big thing in the 90s. Were a public crisis in the early 90s, urban America. The cousin line reveals the R word, and systematic trauma root cause that Tupac refuses to skip over. And I'm gonna tell y'all a little secret. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable. The amount of people I know, male or female, that slept with their other older cousin is kind of disturbing. And it's like some weird family secret that everybody just kept, and you just don't say nothing about it. Because you got to keep the family together, right? You can't just get weird and awkward at the family reunion. So everybody just pretend it don't happen. And it's disturbing in a lot of ways. It's very disturbing.
very.
And you see the age, by the way, 13. She couldn't find love affection from home because everybody keeping secrets. And that's still today, by the way. That is still today. And I want to touch on another thing. Dumpster babies. When abortion became illegal, that tell you something about a little bit about the abortion debate that we ain't gonna get into. People gonna find a way if they don't want a child. Dumpster babies were big in the early 90s. In the LA 80s, the early 90s, then everything changed and abortion was baby. But dumpster babies was a thing. It is a big, that's why Tupac put the dumpster image in the video. Just that you know, that's what was happening. So even if you take it away, it's still gonna be a thing. But again, the problem I have with most people that disagree with abortion is that if let's say I agree with you, what you gonna do after? Because why is the mortality rate so high in these places that refuse it? Why does children pass away so quickly when they're alive in these places? And that's not a problem to you. So like the cry for help from Brenda and society, and it's a whole thing. Everybody in society, Brenda's got a baby. Brenda's got a baby. You should keep the baby, even though you're gonna struggle and your life is over, and you probably ain't gonna be able to feed yourself. And y'all can go through this system that everybody criticizes you for. Exactly. So you got to go through that because nobody gonna take care of you. Nobody gonna help you. They'll help some random stranger who does a weird call or say something they hate, but they won't help somebody that's really struggling because that's society for you. So secrets in society shaming you is basically the cry for help. Why are you crying for help?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, this shit. I mean, you just think about it's crazy because like babies was really being offloaded in the dumpsters like that. You know what I mean? And a lot of people, because they don't believe in abortions, or they just didn't have the medical coverage to get one. You know what I mean? So they just did what they thought was the right thing to do, and that was, I guess, discarding the baby within the trash. The other part, the more serious part, the abuse subtext part about it, that's like a real big thing, and not just the black community, but
trailer parks.
Communities, period. Like, a lot of families, a lot of people just overlook the abuse that, certain family members cause to, like, the crazy part about it, a lot of these people be knowing that, this stuff is going on with their child. And they excuse it because, oh, that's your uncle, he got a problem, or your cousin, he got an issue, whatever. Help them get that issue situated instead of creating another issue. You know what I mean? Because all this does is just create a snowball of trauma. You know what I mean? And then that trauma gets passed down to that child. I mean, like it's the cycle, like it's crazy. Like I mean, and it like really I want to give Tupac credit. You know what I mean, because it just really shines a light on what his mind was, and I mean how good of a writer he was. You know what I mean, but yeah, it's this whole thing is like it's devastating to be honest. You know what I mean, it's really a traumatic cycle. I mean,
Yeah. And I like you said, shout out to Tupac. And that's why I wanted to pick this song first. And there's a few others we got that might be lighter, but I wanted to go with this one first. 1991, it fits societal. That's what keeping 99 music theory is. And I want to have this discussion about it in this way and just get people more used to it. It's going to be a little bit till we get in the rhythm, but just get people more used to it. Let's have a literal breakdown and how it was back then and how it is now and how we changed, evolved, and got better. And to be fair, honestly, no. But we'll keep talking. So let's go talk about 1991 to 2026. Teen pregnancy. U.S. teen birth rate was 62 per 1,000 in 1991, a national crisis with few support research. Rate dropped to 14 per 1,000 in 2026, but disparities by race and income persist strongly. So now you see, it's less, shout out to that, but we still have a problem. Crack cocaine was devastating inner city black communities. War on drugs policies criminalize addiction. Versus now, opioid epidemic now dominates, but federal response treatment over incarceration differs starkly by race.
Yep.
Underfunded, under-scrutinized black children disproportionately placed in foster care and overlooked. We don't talk about that. The child welfare system. Family First Act in 2018 reformed some policies, but racial disparity in foster care remains in a documented crisis. Let's talk about hip-hop social voices. Rap label dangerous. Quayle C. Dolores Tucker campaign pushed against content warning artist silence. Hip hop is the number one genre worldwide. Artists like Kendrick Lamar win Pulitzer's prize for social commentary. Meaning, back then, this type of context, this type of thing was looked down upon, and because of the stigma between rap, if you was in the 90s, I know some people might be new, but if you was in the 90s, they were trying to get rid of rap.
Definitely.
They were trying to get rid of a lot of things that were black. If basketball, in a lot of ways, they try to make it a different type of way.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, you got the Allen Iverson big old suits. But now hip hop is more present, but in a way, it might be a little more dangerous in a lot of ways. You do get the Kendricks, but you also get a bunch of lean talk. Even we have Future, which we think is a great artist. Me and Hollywood. But he does talk about drinking lean. He said he'll never do it because it's what popular, what people want to hear to talk about. Which I think is also dangerous when it's the number one genre worldwide in terms of mostly music and stuff.
Right.
So, but you also got it's some good in this though. It has gotten better in a lot of places. Maybe a little bit more or a lot more for other people, but it's still a ways to go, and it's still prevalent in society. And we can't ignore it. Not how many people got autism, and if we don't give nobody an autism test, that means nobody has autism is not an answer.
Right.
And I know a lot of people said when we were younger we didn't have autism, but yes, we did. That's the lie. You know what we called it? Oh, boy over there, he's a little slow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we call autism. When you got like 5 people in your class that was a little slow, it's the same thing. You just didn't call it autism, so you're like, oh, we didn't have nobody with autism. No, you had it. Even some of the smart kids had autism.
Yep.
So that's even more than just the 4 what we consider slow kids. You had a kid that talked a lot or was nosy and would always ask questions. Symptoms of autism. They get distracted real easy, but real smart. We don't consider them slow, so we didn't think about them. That's autism. We just didn't have a name for it. How about the difference? Which like you see, some of it got better, but it's still a problem.
Yeah, some of it did get better because now with the rise of the internet, social media, stuff like that, there's more awareness put on to a lot of these situations where you can actually go and research and do the numbers and be like, all right, man, we got to fix this because this shit is wrong. You know what I mean? Now, the biggest glaring thing for me, you know what I mean, is obviously that part in the middle there. You know what I mean? Because we all know, you know what I mean, and if you don't know, you're just being oblivious to be oblivious. But we know that crack cocaine was implemented and planted into black communities to cause, you know what I mean, the systematic destruction and trauma that it caused. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, let's flood these communities with drugs and then let's arrest all the black men that we gave the drugs to so they won't be around to like the biggest way to break a familial structure is to remove, you know what I mean, the father or the mother. You know what I mean? Especially the father within the black neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Listen, I had my father my whole life. Regardless, even if him and my mom wasn't together, he was always around. You know what I mean? I lived with him, I stayed with him. I mean, I can remember almost everything my father told me. You know what I mean? So having him around was like very beneficial for me. You know what I mean? And it's super detrimental. You know what I mean? Now you move, it's super detrimental not to have them. You know what I mean? Because we seen it within the 90s how many black men was just getting swept off the street. And it give me the takes me. I don't want to divert from the point, but it's still the same. It's still on the point. That's why I don't understand why so many people used to say, "Oh, Bill Clinton was the first black president." Bro, y'all do know during his tenure, that's when the most black men went to jail. That's when, you know what I mean, him and Ronald Reagan started that shit. You know what I mean, snowballed that bullshit. You know what I mean, now you transferred to the opioid epidemic. The reason why now it has a federal response, you know what I mean, you see treatment differs starkly by race. You know what I mean, because the opioids is hitting the white communities, it's hitting the white kids. You know what I mean? You know, they don't really care as much about the young black boys and young black girls, you know what I mean, that was strung out on crack. I mean, it's cool. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck about them. But these little white babies, nah, man, we gotta protect them from the opioid. I mean, it's just the disparity in the treatment from one race to another is, I mean, very glaring. And it's like, if you don't recognize that, then like I said, you just being oblivious to be oblivious. I mean, and as far as like hip hop's voice, I think that was another thing that was strategic back in the day. You know what I mean? A lot of these rappers were just happy to get money. You know what I mean? So, you know, they was just put in positions to promote messages that created the snowball effect of systematic trauma. You know what I mean?
Cheat
And
on your girl. Lie to
cheat on
your
your
girl.
girl, kill your homie. You know what I mean? All this. Like, and I get it. You know what I mean? I do understand a lot of this stuff is proximity shit. Like, you know what I mean? You gonna do, like, if I rob niggas, if I'm a robber and I live in a neighborhood full of black people, yeah, I'm gonna be robbing niggas because that's where I live at. You know what I mean? I mean, if I got beef with a nigga down the street, we in proximity of each other. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's gonna happen. Like, I get that. But at the same time, a lot of the music was pushed to create these type of situations. I mean, like, they was pushed to create these drive-by situations. They was pushed to create, oh, I mean, you got to get out here and sell drugs because that's the only way you gonna make it in this life. You know what I mean? Then you fast forward till now, you got rappers like Kendrick Lamar winning Pulitzer Prizes for his social commentary. You know what I mean? And other rappers that speak out. Like, even Tupac was speaking out about it, you know what I mean, as well, but he was also promoting it, you know what I mean, at the same time. You know what I mean? But now artists like Kendrick and others had time to grow up and watch, you know what I mean, what was going on. So it's like, all right, I can actually give you a different insight, a different perspective of how to do this the right way. You know what I mean? So it's a big difference. I mean, it's a big difference. It's 35 years, like from 91 to 2026. Yeah, I mean, that's 3 decades. I mean, of improvement a little bit. I mean, as you see from the teen pregnancy from 62 per 1,000 to 14. I mean, even though, as you said, there is disparities within races. I mean, and we know which races those are. I mean, so
Yeah.
yeah,
And I want to tell white people this is your problem too. This still
facts.
affects you. You might be doing a good job, better job at it, and caring about it more, but it's still a problem for you. Opioids, family destruction of the poor people. The reason you got cheddar builders out here who's leaving a fatherless child now because he wants to go to jail because he wants fame. It affects you too.
Yep.
Cheddar builders in jail. So now guess what? His child, who his mother already left, he's a drug dealer too. So I don't know how, but so you got situations like that. You got other people doing it. It's a common thing still. And I think we have two more. Then we're gonna get out of here. We got some questions that I want to just ask. We're gonna get through these quick. Is Tupac's portrayal of Brenda empowering, exploitative, or both? And I want the audience to they can come in on this too. How did
Is his portrayal of Brenda empowering, exploit? I mean, I don't want to say he was exploiting. I mean, you know, empowering. I guess. I mean, I would say more of a.
I thought he was just telling the story.
Yeah, it was just a story to, I guess, promote awareness. You know what I mean? But I don't think it was exploit. I mean,
Yeah.
no exploitation within the song. You know what I mean? It was maybe, you know, exposing. It was just exposing what goes on in these type of neighborhoods and these type of places. Like I mean, and also the empowering part comes from like there are like we said earlier in the show, we all know a Brenda somewhere, a bunch of Brendas.
Yeah.
I mean, so that song gives you, if you a Brenda in a situation, it gives you like, all right, somebody understands my story, somebody know what I'm going through. You know what I mean, somebody gets what's happening to me. You know what I mean? And it should be exposed. You should be more aware to the situation. So I say yes for the empowering part, no to the exploitation.
Yeah. Question two: what would Brenda's life look like in 2026? What's the same? What's different? We have social media. We have TikTok. We have GoFundmes. Do you see the change in Brenda's option or just her visibility? I see a change in visibility and option. Like she might be safer if she do the work. Let's say she had the same situation she did its work. She'll be safer because she can do it on her own or figure something else out with somebody she trusts instead of
Right.
having to go on the street with strangers. I don't recommend that option anyway, but if you choose to go that way, it's safer. You have TikTok, you have different ways. You're not, you'll probably feel less stuck with a child with there's no options because, like I said, women education back in 1991 was awful.
Right.
So now it's better chance for getting educated. So, and it, like I said, if all that fails, you still got TikTok, you still got social media, you got things you can use that might, you can get advice from people, even if your family don't support you, you can find threads to get advice. But the pressure might hit a little harder now, thanks to all the drugs and stuff and like prescription and stuff that you take now. So it's a lot of different things. So I think it would be different, but I don't know if it would be less traumatic, but it'd still be different in a way. You know what I mean?
I agree. I think it would definitely shit. Brenda now, 2026. You know what I mean, she would definitely have more options, but I mean, you know, we got this Roe v. Wade shit. You know what I mean, so uh, but as far as I mean, like providing for the child, and I mean, yeah, she wouldn't have to be out here doing walking the streets doing sex work. Like, yeah, you can do OnlyFans and all that shit from the comfort of your bedroom. You know what I mean? And maybe she would have better options though. Other than that, like I mean, there are now like programs and stuff like that that
Yeah.
help you. You know what I mean, get housing, take care of your, you know what I mean, child and all that stuff like that. Like I mean, and you know, today I feel like some in certain places more people are more willing to extend a helping hand. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think her options would definitely be totally different in today's society.
Yeah. Why did Dan Quayle condemn this album in 1992, and who silences hip hop artists today? He did it because, of course, this brought up problems that people didn't want to hear about, and it kind of could have started a movement. But at the same time, who silences hip hop artists today? The algorithm. I'm just gonna be
Yep.
honest with you. The algorithm gonna push certain type of music. The internet, social media is gonna push certain threads. Like the one thing I did hate from the Kendrick and Drake beef, the only time I mentioned it, is the thing that you rap like you freeing the slaves. I hate that line. And I saw people defend it. I'm like, I know what he was trying to say. I'm not stupid to say he was like that. He was like, "Oh, you're not really this savior that you pretend to be." But that line is kind of still offensive in a way. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
nigga, you should be trying to help black people, not necessarily freeing the slaves. You are successful. You should be trying to help.
Right.
You should rap in ways to help black people. You shouldn't just rap for swag. Which rap for swag is fine. There's no hate. Like I said, the whole Drake beef. I'm not anti-Drake and that. We even gave Drake a great album review on how to his channel. Go check him out. Just clicked over on 99media.org. Y'all see and go to what it sound like. The link over there and just click it and you'll go find it.
Mhm.
But that line set still, even though I know what he meant by it, every black person should be like, okay, how can I help our community? Because every other community, they don't necessarily help the lowest, but they still help a lot.
Yep.
So how can you free your people from the things that you see? Because Drake don't rap about a lot of this like nonsense. He rap lover boy bullshit and all that. But how can you help? And Kendrick should do the same. No matter how you feel about him, he should not just rap about it. He should do it. However you feel about that, or if you have, I don't know these people personal lives, but it's just the line itself. And I don't know what Drake has done for black people in Houston or anywhere else. I don't know what Kendrick has done. I'm not gonna speak on things I don't know about, but just in general, you saying that you should rap every time, like, hey, this is my chance. Like you playing football in the gym. I'm shooting these shots so my people can eat. So, at least my family or something generational, so we can have some generation. Your thought? And by the way, when I say algorithms, it's a certain push on social media to have the dumbest, dumbed down stuff be popular, like TikTok sounds, stuff like that. It's no artist development anymore. We have talked about this. I don't want to go on the thing. There's no artist development. It's whatever hot right now, whatever the algorithm pick, whatever funny line you can say, whatever single simple beat that sound like a child or some weird noises that you can make. It's more prioritized and thoughtful rap in a lot of ways. How did?
Yeah. So Dan Quell, you know what I mean? He his initial problem with Tupac was because there was a state trooper that was fatally shot in Texas by it was a teenager or something, and they said that he had Tupac's album playing in his tape deck when the incident occurred. So his whole mindset and thinking was this type of music needs to be removed from the shelves because it's promoting, you know, this type of behavior. You know what I mean? And Tupac, his whole thing was, listen, man, all this music is just a reflection of the society that I live in. You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe you should look into that. You know what I mean? Look into the societal practices that's creating these situations. You know what I mean? And you're honest, 100% correct. The people that silence the artists today are the is the algorithm and the artists themselves. You know what I mean? Because now we live in a age where you know what you say and what you do will be remembered. Like I mean, just because you think you finished with it, that don't mean somebody else is. Just because you might have posted something that sound crazy, you deleted it. Once it's on the internet, nigga, it's on there forever. Like, I mean, somebody screenshotted it, somebody did something with it. I mean, so a lot of these artists today put their foot in their mouth and do dumb shit, and they silence themselves. But also the algorithm, we just talked about that yesterday on what it sound like. I mean, how the the rise of streaming within the hip hop industry, I mean, has silenced a lot of up and coming artists because you gotta fight the algorithm to be heard. Like, I mean, because there's so many artists uploading their music on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, whatever. You know what I mean? So you gotta fight against the algorithm just to get plays. And if it's, the algorithm going to play what it want to play. It's going to play what is being searched the most and all that. So you got an uphill battle to climb with this new streaming wave within hip hop. So yeah, the algorithm is definitely one of the biggest silencers right now because we can't get any new underground talent like that because it's hard to break through. You know what
I agree with that. And we didn't support SoundCloud, and they ended up being bought by Spotify, and then that era died when new artists was popping off on SoundCloud. Um, and now we have allowed a monopoly of major labels who are partnered with these platforms to kind of control what's going on. And it's really pay for play on who gets on playlists and stuff on major playlists. And you just have to look up and hope that one of the the medium ones, like your song enough, and they're like, okay, this got enough push to do it. Or you got to figure out your own way on social media and do it. It's a lot now. Like I said, when SoundCloud passed, when we let that Piff and all those sites go and let Spotify and all them buy it and didn't support them when they were asking to support it. I thought they could have a better business model because in 2009, me and Twan Jackson, another guy over on that now, y'all know. Well, I don't know if you know, but he's part of that. If you go back into the logs a while back, me and him wrote a plan to do it that was basically SoundCloud before SoundCloud, and we had a way to actually make money off of it. So when I saw SoundCloud come out, I'm like, I don't need it no more. But I like, this is unprofitable, just being free like this. But like I said, when they decided, hey, we gonna need some money to fund this, y'all didn't do it, and they had to sell out to Spotify. Which then now you see that most people that come out now is label people. It's very rare you see just a real independent. Cause back then you saw Russ, you saw a bunch of like names, Lil Uzi and them, all was on X, who could get on SoundCloud and just start popping naturally. So now you gotta like figure out little new ways like TikTok. But even if you do TikTok, most people ain't gonna know you for your music, or they'll just know you for a sound. Like Zeddy, I didn't even know who Zeddy Will. I thought Zeddy Will was just a dude dancing, but he made the song. So, but shout out to Zeddy and the people that still making their way or found their ways through streaming or whatever. Even though people more know them for that than their music. I just addressed this. So I'm just like, how they going there? Has hip hop done enough to address systematic poverty, or has it become part of the machine?
Has hip hop done enough to address systematic poverty? No, it has not. You know what I mean? It has in the sense of like, there's artists that you know, bring awareness to the situations and stuff that they grew up in. You know what I mean? But it hasn't done enough to address systematic poverty because, I mean, I'm gonna have to put my Dr. Umar hat on. You know what I mean? Where is all the black infrastructures, you know what I mean, in these black communities? You know what I mean? No black schools, no black banks, no black hospitals, no black grocery stores, and all that. I mean, we rely on all these other motherfuckers, other races to get our resources when we have a bevy of black millionaires because of hip hop. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, I ain't gonna say niggas don't do for their community because they do, but a lot of them don't. You know what I mean? And it has become a part of the machine because as much as I love rap music, it promotes the the culture of it promotes the culture of what am I trying to say here? Like of trying to diminish. You know what I mean? It makes poor people just look like you not trying to do something with your life. You feel me? Like it promotes that type of message. Whereas though, like if you're not out here doing this because the NBA young boy said it, you know what I mean? Like I mean, it's just it's promoting a bad message. Like so yeah, it's definitely a part because like from right there, say from Brenda to Rich
To Rich
Flex,
Flex.
like I mean, how we and that's most of the music now, where niggas is like I'm gonna bring it back to a situation that just happened recently, like the Rick Ross situation, where people was trying to clown him because he was flying commercial flight or whatever. You know what I mean? He was trying to save money. You know what I mean? And, it was regular folks trying to clown him for that. And then, you had regular people saying, y'all shouldn't be clowning millionaires for blah, blah, blah. But they get on records all the time and clown you for not being a millionaire. You know what I mean? They clown you for working 9 to 5s. They clown you for trying to provide for your family, but you not doing it in the way they doing it. So they say you broke or they call you a sucker. You know what I mean? That's
Amount of rich people suffering.
that's becoming a part of the machine. That's continuing, to promote the the wrong message. Like, you know what I mean? So yeah, man.
I don't think it's just hip hop. It's all these platforms, from content creators to streaming and everything. They all create this lifestyle that you can't really be happy unless you live in this lifestyle. Like my parents grew up like if you have a home and a family that's fed and you raise your kids, you can be happy. Now, hey, you got a family, but you still broke though. And I'm like, what? And then the fact of clowning somebody for going commercial when we make fun of athletes for, by the way, athletes, y'all gotta stop this for talking about they going broke because they was flying private everywhere, and it costs $20,000 per time, and you do it like 20 times a year, which you go about $4 million, and you give your mom $1 million and then buy a $3 million house, and now you only have $1 million left, and I'm like, we motivate them to live this lifestyle, and then clown them when they do it and call them stupid when they do it. And then they reciprocate by calling you broke. In a way, I don't even know which one comes first, the chicken or the egg. but one of them happened first, and it's like a cycle. And everybody hating on you is a lack of accountability too. So it's not, of course, it's not going to be systematic power because it's a lack of accountability on both ends. It's a group of people who think you should take care of them for free too. Like if me and Holly started a business right now, it's gonna be a black person gonna be, hey man, can I get this for a discount? And you tell him no, he gonna act like I'm gonna go to a white man establishment. They'll tell you that how it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I ain't gonna ask for a discount from him.
Right,
like, bro, I'm trying to get on my feet, and you talking about if I give everybody black a discount, because you know what you're gonna do if I give you a discount?
You gonna
tell everybody else that they gave a discount, and now if I don't give them a discount, anyway, why you give old boy a discount? So I give everybody a discount. I didn't make a profit. I'm going broke.
I'm going broke trying to look out when it's like you should be looking out for me. You know what I mean?
Like you should have been like, hey, bro, I appreciate what you're doing here. Extra $5 tip, dog. Keep that business running.
You know what I mean? If you look out for us in the beginning when we starting the business, once the business grows, then I'll have enough revenue to say, you know what? I can look out. I will give you a little discount. You know what I mean? But y'all be wanting a discount on the grand opening. Like, bro, we ain't even put money in the register yet. Like, you know what I mean?
We don't even got a profit yet. And then that goes back to this too. If you do make it, you have to probably work with another group of people. And then when you do, you be like, screw them. They ain't help me when I got it. I heard the amount of people I heard do that, like, screw them. They didn't help me when I come up. The hood just hated on me the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
We even see it with Dennis Rodman in terms of women. Black women didn't love me, so I like them white women because they thought I was ugly. It's like this whole again, I don't know what came before chicken and egg, but hip hop the same way. I don't know what happened, but chicken and egg came first. I can't quite pinpoint where it happened, but but it happened. And last thing is, who do you think is the Brenda 2026? Which community is most invisible right now? The Brenda 2026 is Brenda's grandbaby, Brenda the third. That's who Brenda is. Brenda's 2026 is the grandbaby of Brenda. It's a psychological trauma passed down from generation to generation.
Definitely.
So that's who Brenda is. Brenda is Brenda's grandbaby, who has to deal with Brenda's trauma.
Yeah, that's definitely yeah, you all answered it right there because like we said a few questions before. Yeah, I mean the trauma, especially within the black community, trauma gets passed down, man. Yeah, I mean trauma get passed down like fucking generational wealth for some reason. You know what I mean? And you know, if you see how Brenda was raised, you know what I mean, how she had to come up, her child probably had similar hardships, similar situations. Probably had a child young. Now that child, I mean, it's just this the cycle just keeps repeating. I mean,
Sure. I don't even say child because Brenda had a baby at what 91, and she dropped down and done. She probably had another one in 95. Then that one in 95 would have had one in what 2014, 15. So it's the grandbaby. The grandbaby is the new Brenda because she'd be what 10 now, 12 at that age. So that's why I
yep.
say the grandbaby, not even the baby. The grandbaby is the one to get the trauma. We got one. We got one more. Why this song still matters? I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee I will spark the brain to change the world. This is one of my favorite Tupac quotes. This is one of my favorite Tupac. I always quote this because it's literally my motivational thing to always show love, support, no matter what somebody do to me. If I might not, I'm not saying I'm gonna change the world, but I guarantee I will spark the brain that will change the world.
Oh,
So even if let's say Tupac didn't, let's say this quote hit me in a way, and then I say something or Hollywood say something that sparks somebody else. He still did it through that. So even if it ain't right now in the future, so that's the purpose of him making the song and why the song matters. If I'm not gonna change the world, by the way, this is 91 Tupac. This ain't 95 when it got a little bipolar and a bunch of stuff happened. Because if you listen to the music, you can tell the difference between early Tupac, respect women,
Suge Knight influence.
the respect women Tupac in 91 with the hairstyle versus the 95, 94, 95 Tupac. The way he talk about women is very vastly different, but that's like again life. But like, if you don't believe me, just look. When he had that hair, listen how he respect women. This how he talk about women. And then look when he go bald, how it changed. But precision storytelling, Tupac gave a character a timeline, a system, a tragedy in under 4 minutes. Every lyric has a job. The radical empathy. He didn't condemn Brenda. He explained her. That was radical in 1991. It's rare for mainstream music even today to do. Universal blueprint. The song template. Name the person. Expose the system. Demand accountability is a model for social commentary. And music versus journalism. Before podcasts and viral Twitter threads, artists like Tupac reported on communities the media ignored. Thoughts on this and why the song still matters?
You know what I mean, definitely facts that artists like Tupac, you know what I mean, was basically the first, you know what I mean, journalist within music because, you know, yeah, back in the 90s, the the record label's agenda was to, you know, push crime and shit like that. But you did have other artists, you know, that was shedding light on these situations, trying to pull people out of that, like people like Tupac, the Public Enemies, KRS One, and shit like that. Yeah, I mean, so that's valid. Mm, I do agree he didn't condemn Brenda at all. Like, I mean, he just, like I said in the beginning, he exposed and gave awareness to situations that a lot of people ignore. I mean, a lot of people in America don't, they don't even know half of the bullshit that go on because they so consumed with what they got going on. You know what I mean? And a lot of people didn't grow up in these situations. You know what I mean? They wouldn't even know what a bad night feels like for real, for real. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean this song definitely gave America awareness to what's going on in the inner cities, and the storytelling was definitely precise. Yeah, like you know what I mean, he laid out everything. You know what I mean, from her circumstances, the circumstances that was created because of her situation. You know what I mean, the situation within the community. You know what I mean, how the church not helping, how our parents not helping. You know what I mean, like he painted the picture vividly for you to see, like, you, this shit is wrong. You know what I mean? You know, and then the quote, you know what I mean, that's probably one of the more powerful quotes out there because it's true. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might like a person like Tupac, his words, his impact and what he did give somebody else motivation to say, you know what, I want to continue this. You know what I mean? This is the change that I want to work towards. You know what I mean? So you need thinkers and innovators like that that's going to spark these type of motivations within people. You know what I mean? And it don't just be musicians. You know what I mean? It could be athletes. You know what I mean? Scientists, whatever. You know what I mean? But we need that. I mean, so that's a definitely a real powerful thing right there.
Yeah. But I hope y'all like this episode. I hope y'all like music theory. It's a new thing we doing, a new concept. Taking my time out to do it, and I hope y'all like the background. I hope it's really cool, very hip hop. Is music theory. We're not just doing hip hop. Upcoming things we got a few more that I might do solo, or we might do it together. We'll talk about it and do it. But I know we got up as a group. We got "Love Yours" by J. Cole, "The Price of Contentment." We also got "Drowning in Clout" by TLC, 1995. I know "Love Yours" is a little newer. And then we ain't just doing hip hop. We're doing "Smells Like Teen Spirit" by Nirvana, 1991. So we're gonna do a bunch of different types of music. Like I said, those are the ones we're gonna do as a group. I don't know how we're gonna do it. I'm thinking bi-weekly and then I do one solo, but we'll figure out. Hollywood might love it. Like, hey, man, I gotta be on these more, so might do it every week. But it's gonna be a good time. Hope y'all enjoy the background, the scene, everything. I want to give y'all something different. We're gonna really break down these lyrics in like a deeper way and connect it to us and how we can get better in different ways. So I want to be able to do that through music because that's what music is supposed to be, and that's what we're gonna do. So I do appreciate everybody for watching and all that. Holla, tell them where they can find you, things you got going on, all of that. Of course, over on 99media.org, you can just go to his page and see the affiliates and go to Blur Cartel or what it sounds like and click it and you can find it. But you tell me something.
Before I go, I'll tell y'all where to find me at. Just, you know what I mean, keep supporting the overall 99 movement, man. Like, I mean, me and Zell may have been connected the past couple years now, and like the work is there, man. My boy, he be doing his thing, man. I mean, he really be out here getting shit done. So make sure you support the movement. You know what I mean? Because the movement is worth supporting. I'm telling you, like, I mean, this is a real solid thing over here. I mean, I'm just happy to be a part of it. But you can follow me anywhere the Blur Cartel is at. Just type in the Blur Cartel. You know what I mean, Hollywood Sensei 215 on all social media platforms. And I got my podcast, Welcome to Hollywood, which will be, we'll probably be dropping it, I think, this Monday or Tuesday. A special, real heavy episode. You know what I mean? We're going to be diving into like the state of America, you know what I mean, and why the United States just collectively hates black people. You know what I mean? So yeah, tap into that. We're gonna have a real in-depth discussion about that. A lot of stuff to talk about on that episode.
Go check that out. It's gonna be great content, great discussions over there. What it sounds like. Welcome to Hollywood, Aldo channel, Blur Cartel. If you want some entertainment and fun. I couldn't get to Roundtable Wednesday, but I know they have a great time. all the top tens and all the stuff right now. You're into wrestling. We got Mount Rushmore Sunday, worst fictional dads. We have a whole game show thing that's really fun to do where we make our Mount Rushmore and we have a saboteur to try to mess it up so that it might not always be perfect. So we'll see if they can actually get it right and all those things. I do want to say, we just put out the power review. I just put out one. We might do one together tomorrow. I don't know. It's a lot going on tomorrow, but I do got my solo one, so you can always get that one. House of the Dragons review will be out Sunday night, and we do a group show on Monday, so be there for that if you into House of the Dragon. Tuesday, we got Keep It 99 Sports right here. Thursday, we have Casual Conversation, and Don't PMO is out tomorrow, in which it's going to be narrative-driven again. Stephen A. Smith seems to get on my Don't PMO a lot. Even like I said, I don't consider him a COO because of the work he do, but he do little things that make me upset. And yesterday, I'll give you the answer to it because this comes out probably right before it. So if you go quickly, the thing that made me mad is him admitting he don't watch the WNBA but has an opinion on it. And I'm like, you can't do that, sir.
Right.
So that's the thing we're gonna break down. This is Keep It 99. Enjoy my guy, D-Rec on Demand. He might be with us next time. We're gonna see. He hit me up, but something came up today. So enjoy his music as we go, as we get out here. So I appreciate you. Go show him support. D-Rec on Demand. D-Rec REC on Demand. I don't forget how to spell on here because it's not on this one. It was on Restream, but so and I don't know how to spell off the top of my head. But go check them out. It's called Money Man Flow right here, bonus. So check it. Oh, I see it right here. D-REK on Demand. So there you go. Right there. Just check them out. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
I don't care about paper chasing. I just pray I never see the jailhouse.